Hello and welcome to our study for this week. We're kicking off a brand new quarter with a powerful theme: persecuted but not forsaken. Have you ever felt like your struggles were a sign that God had left you? This week, we're going to dive deep into why that's simply not true. In fact, sometimes the toughest trials are a sign of God's deepest trust in you. Our memory text sets the tone perfectly. It comes from Philippians 4:4, where the Apostle Paul says, "Rejoice in the Lord always. Again I will say, rejoice." Now, what's so amazing about this verse is where Paul was when he wrote it. He wasn't on vacation, he was in prison. He was a prisoner for his faith, yet his message was one of unwavering joy. This week, we'll explore how that's even possible. We'll start by looking at Paul himself, who described himself as a prisoner of Jesus Christ. This wasn't just a physical reality, it was a spiritual identity. He saw his chains not as a mark of shame, but as a badge of honor, an opportunity for Christ to be magnified through his weakness. We'll examine scriptures like 2 Corinthians 4, where he describes believers as earthen vessels holding a divine treasure. The vessel might be cracked and fragile, but that's precisely how the light of God's power shines through most brightly for the world to see. Then we'll journey to the cities that received some of Paul's most famous letters written from prison. We'll visit Philippi, a place where Paul and Silas were brutally beaten and jailed, yet they sang hymns at midnight. It was in this city that a church was born, one that became a source of great joy and support for Paul throughout his ministry. Their shared experience of suffering created an unbreakable bond. Next, we'll turn our attention to Colossae. Interestingly, Paul had never personally visited this city, but his influence reached it through his disciples. The letter to the Colossians was carried by a man named Tychicus, and he was accompanied by someone very special, Onesimus. Onesimus was a runaway slave who had met Paul in prison and become a Christian. Paul sent him back to his master, Philemon, not as a slave, but as a beloved brother in Christ. This story beautifully illustrates how the gospel breaks down every barrier and transforms relationships, even in the midst of hardship. Finally, we'll look at the churches in Philippi and Colossae themselves. Paul addresses them as saints and faithful brethren in Christ. These weren't perfect people, but they were a community set apart for God's purpose. They had leaders, bishops, and deacons who served the body of believers, helping them stand firm in their faith. This reminds us that we're not meant to endure trials alone. God has given us the church, a family to support and strengthen us. As we go through this week's study, let's reflect on this prayer. Lord, help us see trials not as abandonment, but as a refining fire. Give us the grace to endure with joy, knowing that you are revealing your character in us. When we feel weak, remind us that your power is made perfect in our weakness. This lesson is so relevant for us today as we prepare for the challenges of the end times. It teaches us that God never forsakes his people. He trusts us with trials to purify our character and advance his kingdom. So let's embrace this journey with courage and unwavering confidence in Him. Thanks for joining me, and I look forward to exploring these powerful truths with you throughout the week. Be sure to subscribe for more studies like this one. God bless.